Good afternoon. Tucker Carlson Tonight, the single most popular show on Fox News. In fact, the single highest rated show on, let me just make sure I got a sound. Hold on, I want to make sure the sound's all right. I'd think if the sound was an issue, I'd know by now. Sorry. The single highest rated program in cable history, actually, is no more. Fox News has announced that it is cutting ties with Tucker Carlson. We know very little. We do know a few things about it at this point. We'll get into it. It's literally fresh breaking. We don't have as many details as we'd like. What we do know is that it's already a done deal. Tucker Carlson is now officially off from Fox News. He is not employed by them anymore. There will be no send-off shows. There will be no final shows. His last show aired on Friday night. Tucker Carlson is no more at Fox News. This is not up for negotiation. This is not conditional. He is done. We do know that it is a part of the settlement with Dominion. We don't know in what way it is a part of that settlement, but we have at this point confirmed. We were thinking earlier that it may be part of the settlement and a condition of the settlement. We now know it was in fact as a result of some elements of that settlement. We don't know. We don't know if they said specifically they had to fire him or what it is. But as a result of that settlement, the Tucker Carlson show is no more. It ranked number one by a significant margin of all cable network shows. In fact, the top 15 are all on Fox. Anderson Cooper 360 is CNN's most watched show, and that ranks 26 overall. Anderson Cooper, a household name, ranks 26. This is the most successful show in cable network, quote, news history, and it is now over. Now, Tucker Carlson has said a lot of inflammatory things, said a lot of things that were not true. Fox News was involved in a suit in which one of the defenses was nobody could take him seriously and think that he was actually, a newsman or that anything that he said was news. And they won in part on those grounds. So this had no real effect on his viewership. He still brought in tremendous amounts of money to the Fox News channel. We did look at the settlement and thought that the settlement was a little low, and we're curious why Dominion did not continue all the way to the end. All of us here wanted to see that happen because we knew that it would put for the record just everything that Fox has done and lied about. If in the end, rather than do that, they simply decided to end Fox's most successful program and the face behind all of the lying and a tremendous amount of lying about January 6th and the apologetics for it and about the purported fraud, and a staunch defender of Trump's while simultaneously loathing him, we later learned. If getting rid of him was the trade-off, this may still well have been a very good deal for Dominion and for the country as a whole. At any rate, we do know Tucker Carlson is out at Fox News. Let's see, let me just quickly check, and I apologize. We have information coming in literally second by second. He was ranking 3.3 million viewers, and it's 3.5 highest rated cable news show. And a huge part of how and why Fox News was so successful. According to the Fox News's website on their host of Tucker Carlson Tonight, it has not been updated. But it still lists Tucker Carlson and Tucker Carlson Tonight, but it says that he is the host of Fox News's flagship primetime cable news program, Tucker Carlson Tonight. It is over. He will not be back at Fox News. This is interesting because when we're waiting now for the other shoe to drop. Fox News has said, quote, "We thank him for his service to the network and as host and prior to that as contributor." That was Fox News. He has not yet made a statement. I'd be curious. This is awfully quick. I'd be curious as to what he's got in terms of an NDA or non-disparagement clause. I have to believe that he's going to want to throw them under the bus. He clearly was not happy with the direction the network was taking in terms of supporting Trump. He clearly disagreed with it. He also was happy to go along with it, but he'll almost certainly paint a narrative that, well, that was his job and everybody knew it, and he's getting fired for decisions made at the highest levels, including by Rupert Murdoch, which we now cannot confirm or deny, because outside of the discovery that we already have, we're not going to be getting any more information. According to Fox also added, Fox News Media and Tucker Carlson, have agreed to part ways. We thank him for his service. They're appearing to suggest it was amicable. Their shares have gone down 4% already since this announcement, which was less than an hour ago. We know, again, it was part of the settlement with Dominion, the $787 million, which for them, I mean, it's not chump change, but it's also, they can absorb that amount. That's not a huge loss for them, but the loss of Tucker Carlson is that show, more than just losing money out of their pockets. That show was generating revenue, and again was the single most successful show on cable news. That show is now over. He has been, I don't know if he's been terminated or it's amicable. They're not saying. I mean, this is less than an hour old. Yeah, it's about 40 minutes old. So we don't know a lot. I apologize. Normally we don't air when we know this little, but given the impact that Tucker Carlson has had on culture in this country and on politics, an advisor to Donald Trump. I mean, Donald Trump was tweeting him talking to him on Messenger from the bathroom at one point when he was, I mean, you can't make this shit up. One of the more influential neoconservative figures, and he is done. He also had a penchant for white supremacists. He engaged in, whether deliberately or not, it was subtle in a way that it seemed to me that it had to be deliberate, of engaging in and using alt-right and white national dog whistles. A truly profoundly unpleasant human being. Anyways, the damage to Fox News on this one is actually quite severe, far more than the cash layout. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what he has to say. Again, my suspicion is they're smart. They're going to try to get him into some kind of NDA before going. But if firing him was a condition of the settlement, they may or may not have had time during the negotiations of that settlement to get him into his own termination agreement and NDA. He probably has one already, but what the bounds of that are is going to be interesting to find out. My theory is that technically he's not supposed to say anything that's going to slander Fox News. Having said that, again, I don't think he's going to want to take the fall for this, but we'll see. This is entirely speculation on my part. We don't know. All we know is that, and to just do another, and Smartmatic, that's the thing. So there's a couple of other lawsuits that are going. So one of the things that I had suggested, all of us were disappointed that this didn't continue because we wanted on the record everything that Fox has done and the deliberate lies and manipulate. It's a propaganda organization, plain and simple, and a very serious one, a very damaging one, and a very effective one. And we've already seen somewhat how much they know that and are aware of it and don't care as long as they're making money. We've seen that in the discovery for this lawsuit. So we wanted to see this continue so that it could all be committed to the public record. That did not happen. And the settlement was decent, but for Fox, I think I forget the amount of weeks it would take to make that up. Something, if I recall, it was about 6 weeks worth of revenue, which, okay, and I mean 6 weeks full revenue. So they're not going to make that up in 6 weeks because they're still spending the money on other things. But it wasn't, earth shattering for the company. This is earth shattering for the company. Tucker Carlson has left Fox News. He is already out. He has done his last show. His last show aired on Friday that I'm aware of. He didn't do a send-off. Certainly nobody had any clue. He didn't appear to telegraph having any clue. So my suspicion is he didn't know that he was going to be gone on Friday. He didn't say, like, it's been a pleasure serving at Fox or anything like that. He just aired his show normally. So whatever this is, we do know it's part of the Dominion defamation settlement, and Tucker Carlson is almost certainly barred from ever coming back to Fox News again as part of the settlement. He has now been let go. I hesitate when saying that because we don't know that for certain. It doesn't say that, but that's the only reasonable conclusion. This settlement wasn't between Tucker Carlson and Dominion. It was between Fox News and Dominion, which means Fox News is the one that made the ultimate decision, and it must have been part of the settlement in some way or another that Carlson would be released from Fox News. So what this means is he was almost certainly fired. I hesitate to say it. We don't have it in writing yet, but I can't think of another legal contrivance that would result in anything other than he was fired by Fox as a condition. So that's what we're looking at. I'll do another rundown in a minute. Again, this is now only about 45 minutes old, so I do apologize. We don't normally go to air with so little, but Carlson has hosted for the last, I think, 3 years, the #1 cable news program. Again, Anderson Cooper, we all know Anderson Cooper, he was 27. Well, Fox News has dominated the cable network news. We don't normally think of that because my generation isn't the one that's watching for the most part. It certainly isn't my political demographic. But having said that, that show has been a lead-in to Hannity and to every other Fox show, and all of their successes are contingent on, or would not have happened without, Carlson as the lead-in, and his success spread to the other shows. So this is tectonic and may easily change Fox News' status as the #1 network. Not reality TV, that's for sure. Fantasy programming, I don't know. But their dominance may come to an end from this. I wouldn't say it's for sure, but they don't have another personality that's as popular, and I think there are plenty of people who just watch him or watch Hannity and others because he's leading into them. So this is going to have some serious repercussions. It's also going to have repercussions, again, I think, because now that he's not shielded by Fox, now that he doesn't have Fox's deep pockets, people who are interested in suing him can do so, and Fox may or may not come to his aid, depending on whether they have any liability themselves in a lateral manner pertaining to any suit going towards him. He now becomes far more vulnerable, and there are going to be leaks. There are going to be leaks from Fox that are going to paint this as entirely his fault. He went off the deep end, did things he shouldn't have, and Fox did the brave thing. And when they agreed to the settlement, they volunteered that, no, we understand, we as a reputable news organization need to get rid of our leading man because we put integrity and ethics above, sorry, I'm choking there, above the bottom line. That's how they're going to frame it. And that's what I think we're going to see in the future. And when he hears that, since I think all of us who've been following this from the beginning know there's zero truth to that. He including and especially the ethics part, he's going to hit back. So we'll see. There's going to be a lot to unpack in the future. Right now, and like I said, there's really not much. We know for a fact that he is done. We know that it seems like he's been fired. We know that whatever happened was as a direct result of the settlement for the Dominion lawsuit. We know in previous leaks that he had objected to the more extreme support of Donald Trump, and that even as he was supporting Donald Trump and supporting these conspiracy theories, he was saying in private that there was no truth to them, and that even Donald Trump could end the network. He had some very harsh words for Trump, Giuliani, any lawyer who's ever worked for Trump, all of his staff, and the whole 9 yards. And it looks like all in the Fox organization felt that way, which begs the question, who's next? The other thing we're going to keep an eye on is who's next? Tucker Carlson is the face of Fox News' coverage of January 6th and of Trump and his shenanigans, but he's not the only one by any stretch of the imagination, and there were also people behind the scenes who were involved. Whether they leave quietly, publicly, who knows? And it may be just Carlson. I don't know. But these are the questions I'm asking. Who's next at Fox News? This certainly explains why, if they did this in exchange for this is a blow. This is a huge blow. He's everything to Fox News. This is stunning. I've been so busy trying to prepare and come up with how we're going to frame this to discuss with you that it really hasn't. He is the number one cable news show and has been the cornerstone of Fox's dominance, and he is gone. He will not be airing any more shows. His last show was on Friday. Ostensibly, I don't see any way to go otherwise. He had to have been fired. He certainly didn't leave of his own choice. He wasn't a part of the settlement, so there'd be no reason for him to do that. So it looks like he must have been fired by Fox, ostensibly for doing what he was told to do, from what we can tell. That's a recipe for someone who's going to cause trouble. Probably not right away. Probably after he feels some slights or there's been some leaks, real or not, from Fox. Some water boy at Fox says, oh yeah, this is the way it was. It gets reported as a leak from Fox, and he's like, no. So I think there's going to be a lot coming from this, not necessarily right away, but in the weeks and even months ahead, this is going to have a huge impact. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go quickly hit the live chat, see what you guys are see if there are any questions. We did change our name. We put up the little clock there, but that's been interfering with people's ability to tag us, so we will be changing it back. We can only change our name once every week, so we'll change it back. I haven't been getting the tags easily. Try to tag me if you can. If you have a question, and if I can answer it, I will. $50 on Laura Ingraham. Yeah, Laura Ingraham that's a good, yeah, I think that would not surprise me. And I mean, think about it this way too. They could have thrown anybody under the bus. They could have taken Laura Ingraham and said she was the ringleader, thrown her under the bus. They picked their guy. That also tells me that the Dominion lawsuit was as serious as it looked. From where I was sitting, I'm sitting there going, this could end the company. And that was one of the reasons we were so disappointed in the settlement. We're like, dude, you've got them. You've got them. Why on earth settle? If it was for Tucker Carlson to be out, amongst possibly other things, yeah, that makes a lot more sense now. And it reaffirms that Dominion had them. And the reason that's important is because so many elements of the Dominion case have already been decided. The judge said, we've already determined that Fox News has lied in all of these circumstances. All of them. Now the question is, did they do it with malice? That was the only thing. In order to win defamation in this case, they had to prove that these were things that were lies. They knew they were lies, and they told them with malice. The first two were already established. The judge just said, yep, we're done. with that. Those aren't even at issue here. And every lawyer that opined on this publicly said, "Oh, it was absolutely with malice. Absolutely, we can demonstrate that." So it looks like they had him. That means Smartmatic, there's any number of other people who are engaging in a suit here. There are a lot of other people who have the possibility to sue and haven't yet. I think this is going to encourage that. So I think you're going to see a lot more suits. And now Fox has this is more than the payment, because when you pay the money, you can make that money back. You'll never have quite the net worth you would have had otherwise, and you can't use that money to invest. But it wasn't a catastrophic blow for them, and they were going to make it back. Now, their ability to make revenue going forward has been... He was their guy. It's just so hard to overestimate what this means. So, again, we're going to look for him either writing an autobiography. He can't keep his mouth shut. He's going to go after Fox, and we're going to learn, I think, a lot more. And this strikes me as quite... It's very much in the realm of possibility that this is the death knell for Fox, because it's not going to wipe them out as a company, but this may knock them from number 1 to number 4 or even 5 over time. It's not going to do it overnight, but they just lost their number 1 program, and they lead into all the other top 4 or 5. So this is huge. All right, so let's see. Yeah, so many people are here. Thank you all for joining us. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly check the live chat, and then there's really nothing else. We're going to get bits of information throughout the day. We wanted to let you know, and if you guys want to follow it, we'll be following it on our Discord. So come on into the Discord and follow along with us, and we'll see what happens. Yeah, it's interesting. I don't know who's going to. Yeah, I think Tucker Carlson may well play the victim card. They are going to throw him under the bus at some point. They almost necessarily have to have already, because the only condition under which this could happen is that he's been fired. There's no other. He's been fired. There's nothing that could be amicable about this, because Tucker Carlson gets nothing out of this. He wasn't part of the suit. He didn't. Actually, that's not entirely true, because he was. I forget if he was named separately or not. He may have been. All right, so I'll have to check on that before to the best of my understanding, he was not a direct part of the suit. I should look into that. But assuming that he wasn't, then he's been fired. That's the only thing that could have happened. The flags in Moscow have been lowered to half staff. Yeah. Oh, dear Lord. Yeah. They should do a cooking show. They are replacing his time slot with Fox News Tonight, I think is what it's called. They already have a program up. We don't know who is hosting it. We don't know. I don't think they know who's hosting it. All we know is it's going to be called Fox News Tonight. It starts tonight, 8 p.m. Fox News Tonight. We don't know anything about it. So his regular show is gone. He's gonna, Tucker Carlson, he's still being paid by the Kremlin. So let's see, is there anything else? I'm just gonna quickly check, as I said, any last no good riddance party. That's kind of what this is. Like I said, we're celebrating on the Discord. Everybody on the Discord is thrilled. Somebody will take Carlson's place. Well, yeah, somebody will, but they're not going to be as good as Carlson, because if they were, they'd already have supplanted him. I don't know what. And Carlson was a brand, and he had to be built up over time. He started out as a correspondent. Eventually got his own show, and that's all, from what he'd gotten from CNN and Hardball and all that other stuff. He had to build that up. They've got Shapiro or any number of other people that they might be able to put in, but I keep trying to figure out how I'm going to say this. What I want to say is, I don't want to say this, is that Carlson had charm. I didn't find him charming, but his view, a segment of this population absolutely did, and he was able to reach them in a way that nobody else has been able to duplicate in any meaningful sense. Almost the Pied Piper on some level. Truly gifted in that sense. If we, fucking evil gift, but yeah. So, all right, so let's see. They got yeah. I don't know what the what they're going to say as they may or may not have to. I mean, all they've said is that they've parted ways. So Fox News has said that they've parted ways with Tucker Carlson, and that they thank him for his service. It wasn't service; he was getting paid, but okay. All right, so I'm going to check up on one last, just to see if there's been any other. Oh God, yeah, everybody's. Yeah. I think it's going to be a celebration in the Discord tonight. Yeah. So okay. Well, CNN's. CNN. Wait a minute. What is CNN and Don Lemon have parted ways? Is this? Don Lemon. I guess Don Lemon is out at CNN. Is that? Oh, Don Lemon is out at CNN. I also today. That's okay. So it looks like Don Lemon is also out now. Yeah, this is another one that the company has a vested interest in attempting to appear professional. So they'll say we parted ways until they start to stab them in the back and say all the other things that they really want to say. I have to believe this is a coincidence and that these are not related. I can't think of how they would be, but we're going to keep an eye on that as well. But Don Lemon said, and that's it, right? So we've parted ways. Well, so let's see, who's at Don Lemon, after 17 years at CNN, I was informed by my agent that I've been terminated. It's clear that there will be some large. Okay, so Don Lemon's also out. Apologies to Don Lemon for not treating that as a serious a thing as Tucker Carlson. It's not. Yep, thank you, Titan. All right, so we've got that. So, yeah, Don Lemon is out at CNN as well. So what I'm going to do is a final rundown, and we'll cover what we know, and the rest we're just going to get into on our Discord. So come join us on our Discord, and as we learn these things, literally there's firings all over the place. Anderson Cooper better watch his back. So about an hour ago, actually, it was almost exactly an hour ago, at about 11:34, we learned that Tucker Carlson was out at Fox News. They said that they had parted ways. They thanked him for his service, and that his show that aired on Friday would be his last. Tucker Carlson no longer works for Fox News. This represents a loss of the single biggest show on Fox News. In fact, the single biggest show on all of network cable television. It is the lead-in to a number of other shows and is the cornerstone of Fox's dominance in the market. Part of that is, then there are other shows that like Hannity that are watched a lot, but none of them were as well known as Carlson, and many of them got all their viewers as a lead-in from Carlson, people who were too lazy to change the channel, and they liked Hannity or whoever well enough, but they were following up on the lead-in. Those lead-ins are extraordinarily important. This is going to be a huge loss of revenue for them. They are down. Last we saw 4%. My suspicion is they're going to lose a lot on the stock market today as this information gets out. We know it was a part of the settlement with Dominion voting over the the defamation lawsuit. What Dominion voting had claimed was deliberate defamatory lies made by Tucker Carlson and others at Fox News, but we don't have the details yet. So we've confirmed it is as a result of that. But Tucker Carlson is out. He has done his last show at Fox. We are waiting now to find out what he says. This probably came as a shock to him. There was no indication on his Friday show that he thought he was going to be done. Obviously, if that's the case, then he was not included in any way whatsoever in the negotiations for the settlement. That would mean then that he's been fired by Fox. I suspect he's going to have a thing or two to say about that. I don't know what agreements he's got. He probably has some non-disparagement and non-disclosure clauses, but we don't know, and I don't know that he's going to stick to those. So it's going to be very interesting to see what he does going forward. It's going to be very interesting to see who else at Fox may be axed as a result of this Dominion voting, or what else was in that settlement, because we don't know. But at a minimum, as we're waiting for some of the other suits that are going forward, these suits that can actually use the evidence from the first one, including the judge's declaration that Fox indeed did knowingly lie. So this isn't over for Fox, but this is a huge blow. So we, as I said before, we're going to follow that up on our Discord. Tomorrow at 9 p.m. Eastern, we're going to have Anastasia on, and we're going to be talking to her. We had her on Saturday. She was part of the charity fundraiser we did for Ukraine. She's going to be back tomorrow, 9 p.m. Eastern, and we're going to be talking about what it has been like growing up in Ukraine, growing up and streaming with bombs going off right outside your windows. So looking forward to that discussion. We'll have Operator Starsky back on Friday, and a couple other interesting surprises coming up for the next couple of weeks, including Brigadier General Ben Hodges, former NATO commander of NATO Allied Ground Forces in Europe, will be on I want to say Tuesday the 27th. I'm not sure I've got that date right. We'll check, but it's going to be a good show. We got a lot of stuff planned, so please make sure to like, subscribe, and keep up with what we're doing if you want to catch these shows. Thank you all for joining us, and we will see you tomorrow with Anastasia. Good afternoon all.